Fellows, welcome to the 17th Annual BSU Youth Empowerment Conference. We are so excited to have you here. My name is Willie Hercule. I am a junior majoring in human biology, concentrating in global health and medicine. I hope to eventually go to med school, and I am one of your conference co-chairs.
Hi, I'm Siani Green. I'm a sophomore, double majoring in African and African American Studies and psychology.
Hi everyone, my name is Tisay Yusuf. I am a sophomore majoring in international relations and minoring in African and African American Studies.
All right, so we're about to get started with the day. Here at Stanford, there is no shortage of Black excellence, and although it is embodied in many different forms, our next speakers, Brandon Hill and John Lancaster Finley, are definitely embodiments of Black excellence themselves. They are our vice presidents and student body presidents of the senior class, and we would like to welcome them on stage. Of the school, my fault, of the school. And we would like to welcome them on stage.
Wow, this is incredible. You know, the first high school conference that I remember volunteering for, we held it in one of the classrooms over in the engineering quad. It was not packed like this, so it's actually incredible to look out and see so many people. Thank you all so much for coming out. My name is John Lancaster Finley. I'm the student body president here. I'm a senior, majoring in political science and minoring in urban studies. I'm from America's finest city, San Diego, California. We have anybody from SoCal here? No? Yeah? Hey, there it is.
Yeah, so I'm Brandon Hill. I am from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Yeah, far, far away. There's about 10 Black people in Minnesota. And so honestly, if we had a gathering like this where I'm from, the police would have been in here like 10 minutes ago. No, but honestly, it's so great to see so many Black faces in here early on Saturday morning. We're going to have a great time.
So one of the things we really wanted to talk about before we introduce the guest speaker is what this Black Empowerment Conference means to us, kind of how the Black Lives Matter movement that's been playing out on college campuses. One of the things we should be really thinking about, and that the Black Lives Matter movement has inspired me to think about, is my own Black life, right? We talk about Black Lives Matter, police violence that happens against young people of color, men of color, women of color, and how this impacts our Black community, but then that causes you to pause and think, right, about your own Black identity, about how Blackness is policed in the United States wherever you go, whether it's on a university campus like Stanford, or it's just walking down the street trying to live your normal life.
Yeah. So, and then to come back to the theme of today, the theme of today is back to Black. And so Black refers to, it's a financial term that refers to being good, having financial power, being financially literate, you know, having financial health and wealth in the community. And that's something that we very much so need in the Black community in 2016. So we're going to be talking about this repeatedly throughout the day. And in fact, let me ask you a really quick question. Who here knows Beyonce's song Formation?
Hey,
Who wants to tell me what formation means?
No.
what does formation mean?
What does formation mean? Yeah, yes. So something to do with police. There's police in there. Anybody else? Anything else? Yeah. Yeah, Black Panthers, so Black Power. There's a lot of things. Any other things? Yeah. Stand up for what you believe in. It's good.
Young brother with a Star Wars shirt also.
Like Star Wars. I can see you speak.
Could you speak up? We can't hear.
Honoring that you're Black. Very good. Who here remembers the line, the best revenge is your paper? Hey, right? Best revenge is your paper. She's talking about also Black economic empowerment. You can do a lot when you have capital within the community. So just really quick, the Black community's purchasing power is $1.5 trillion. That means that every year, Black people spend $1.5 trillion. That's like if you took $1 billion and spent it every day for 4 years, and you would still have a little left over in your pocket. And that's what the Black community spends every year. So when we think about Black Lives Matter, black dollars matter as well, right? We need to think about that. So just like the Black Lives Matter movement is making a lot of waves politically, you know, we're getting, you know, laws changed. We're having like prosecutors, you know, not getting elected. The prosecutor who, you know, oversaw the Tamir Rice case in Cleveland didn't get reelected. You know, Anita Alvarez in Chicago with Laquan McDonald, she didn't get reelected. You had the president of Mizzou, you know, University of Missouri, step down earlier this year. That was a big deal. But we need to get back to how are we also making economic waves? How do we talk about things like reparation? How do we talk about housing discrimination? How do we talk about education? And so black dollars matter too. And so when I think about formation, we need to work together to be building black businesses, black enterprise, black entrepreneurship. How do we leverage the capital and the force of creativity in our community to lift all of us up? So that's what we're talking about a little bit today.
Yeah, and it's about our community and how we all fit in together, but it's also reflecting on our individual selves, right? How do we get back to black as an individual? How do we reflect on our own identity? How do we use our identity towards our betterment of our community, towards the betterment of ourselves, and how to move forward towards better success as a people, right? And as everything in this country is driven by black culture, is driven by black consumption, right? Consumption in the economy, driven by that. Yet we're so policed, yet we're so controlled. And so that's what this conference is going to be all about. And with that, we'd like to begin introducing our guest speaker. So our guest speaker today, Mawi Aspinall. He was born amidst civil war in Ethiopia. At age 3, he fled with his family across hundreds of miles of wilderness to reach a United Nations refugee camp in Sudan. Here's a picture of his family in Ethiopia.
Then at age 6, Maui moved to the United States where he overcame poverty and learned English to earn a scholarship to Harvard University. So this should be a picture of Maui at graduation from Harvard with his mother, where he gave the commencement speech to about 30,000 people.
Now, Oprah Winfrey actually called her interview with Maui one of her top 20 moments. Oprah Winfrey said that her interview with Maui was one of her top 20 moments in life.
The Illinois Association of Teachers of English selected Maui as the Illinois Author of the Year, citing the impact of his books on middle school and high school students. So this brother has a lot to say.
Since 1999, Maui Learning has trained over 1 million students in success skills such as grit, growth mindset, and goal setting. Maui Learning's online leadership courses have won the Cody Award and have been used by hundreds of schools nationwide.
And this is a photo again of Maui at in a refugee camp before he knew anything about America. Ladies and folks, join me in welcoming Maui Aspinall.
My brothers and sisters, it's a good day to be here with you today. And I say to you, thank you 10 times for inviting me. It's a good one when I speak to the people that say to me, Brother Mawi, you come from Africa. You not have an accent for us today. So I'm faking that accent for you for the first 30 seconds. I lost my accent a long time ago. That's how I'm talking now. So wait up, y'all happy to be here? Yeah! That was, some of you were confused because that was actually a really bad Nigerian accent. I can't even do an Ethiopian accent. Alright, so you know what? First thing I gotta say, I just want to point something out. I don't know if you guys got this fully before. At a time in our country when there's so many examples and stories about things not working out for black people, did you guys really understand what happened here? The president and vice president of Stanford University are black. Okay, that's phenomenal. That's you see all these students up here work so hard to put this together for you. And I gotta tell you, my company got so many emails, so much communication to organize because they want to do something special for you. They want to inspire you to have a better life, right? They're doing it for you, so please put your hands together for these people. on this topic today, I'm back to black, and kind of what you heard from the intro is that how do we turn this into something positive, right? You hear all the negative things out there. How do we go back to that source of blackness that just tells us we can do it, that gives us power, financial power, all sorts of power? That's what I'm going to share with you today. I'm going to share with you from my story. So I'm going to share with you the things that happened to me. But I got to tell you, the only reason I'm here today is not just to share my story, because anyone can share their story. The key thing about a speech is not about the speaker, it's about the audience. It's about each of you that's out there. So if you listen to me talk, but you don't connect it to yourself, this is a big waste of your time. You should have stayed home. If you come to this conference all day, and you don't learn anything that makes your story better, you should have stayed home. You wasted your time. So I have this simple rule. If I meet you at the airport a year from now, and you come up to me, and you say, hey, Mr. Mawi, I heard you present. I like the presentation. I'll shake your hand. If you come up to me a year from now, and you can say to me, hey, Mr. Mawi, I heard you present, here's one thing I did as a result of your presentation or the conference to make myself better and stronger, I'll buy you a sandwich, okay? I want you to shake your hand, okay? I'll say, what kind of sandwich do you want? I got proof. I met a kid I spoke to at the airport. He told me what he'd done. He actually was serving our country. Here he is. You want Chinese food? I'm at the airport. Here's the receipt to prove it, okay? The point of you being here isn't to sit in your seat and listen. It's not to sit there and be like, okay, I can chill now. It's your mind should be thinking, how do I take everything I got from this day and apply it to myself? Because your story matters. Your life matters. That's what Black Lives means, right? Your life matters. Your life matters. And today we're going to inspire you to make that life matter. So, we'll get started by sharing with you a story. So I have 3 main points for you today about 3 ways we can get back to black, okay? And actually, before I jump in, one thing I'm going to do, whenever I want to check to make sure that you understood something I said, I'm not going to say, did you get me? I'm not going to say, did you understand? I'm just going to say check. When I say check, go ahead and say check back at me. Let's try that. Check. Check. Let's hear from the gut. Check. Check. All right, fantastic. So, the story of my family, okay? Before we came to the United States, this is in East Africa, and we were refugees. So we were forced to flee Ethiopia. There was a war that lasted for 30 years. I don't have time to go through all the details of what happened. You can read about that in my book of Beatles and Angels that was on the Oprah show. But that's my mom there, and I'm to the right. That's me to the right over there. Didn't know anything about the United States. I could have told you California from Florida, had never heard of words like Stanford or Harvard. Didn't know how to read or write in English at all. And so my family, we got resettled. I went from living in a small hut made of straw and mud. Then my family got resettled as a refugee, and next thing I knew, I was living outside of Chicago. Okay, very cold, a lot of things were different about Chicago, but I want to share with you a specific story of something that happened in my family that I'll never forget. This happened a lot of times, and it's really, you're going to see how this connects to back to black in a huge way, but I'm going to tell you what it was like for my family when we went to Walmart, okay? So my family, when I was in the refugee camp, I can tell you, I lived in a small hut about 100 feet away. About 100 feet away, there was a tree, and there was an elderly woman there. And she was there every day. And if you went to her, you could buy 2 things, peanuts, and you could buy some mangoes. I still love mangoes to this day. And that was the convenience store, right? Like, that was it. Like we didn't have, like the idea that a place like Stanford existed, would have been unthinkable to me at that time, right? So I want to tell you what it was like the first time my family went to Walmart. So a couple things about my family. First of all, my father spoke twice as loud as everybody else. It's not that he didn't want to have an inside voice. He didn't know there was such a thing as an inside voice. Okay, nobody ever told him. In my culture, there's 2 things we cook with. We put this food in everything. We put onions and garlic in everything in the Ethiopian culture, right? In fact, I gotta tell you, one time when I was growing up, when I was in high school, my mom told me there was an Ethiopian graduation coming up. My mom told me, go to the store, and I want you to buy all their onions. Okay, so I was like embarrassed, right? I'm at the store, I got my shopping carts, 2 of them. I filled it up with the onions and a lot of garlic. I brought it back home. There were 10 Ethiopian women waiting at my house. They chopped up the onions and garlic so quick you couldn't believe it. They put them in these massive, massive, massive pots. Threw all the onions and garlic in there, tomato paste in there, threw some spices in there. You let that Ethiopian stew simmer for 2 or 3 hours. You know what that means? Every fiber of clothing in the house smells like onion and garlic. Okay? So my teachers never had to take attendance. It's always like, yep, there goes that one. Okay, you can smell me. You can smell me from across the way. My older brother, he was so sick of getting made fun of at school, he would take the shirt he was going to wear to school the next day, he'd put it on a clothes hanger, and he'd put it outside on a tree, hoping that wind would get that smell out. He found out there's not enough wind in the great state of Illinois to get that smell out once it gets in there, right? So my family smells like onions and garlic, right? That's how we spell. My father, the way he spoke, was, if he met you, the first thing he would say to you would be, Ekas? Excuse me. So for him, excuse me was a 7-second word, okay? He said it, he didn't say X, he said Ekas, okay? And then so everybody's confused, right? So I want you to imagine now you're about to walk into the store. How can I make this up? You're about to walk in, my family's right behind you. Go like this with your arm, please, okay? Go like this. Grab your arm. That's my dad grabbing your arm. You never met him before. He spins you around. And what would y'all do? Y'all run? Try to get away? Try to text somebody? Help! The problem is, you ain't going nowhere. My dad's got a good grip, and here's what my dad's going to say to you. He's going to say, Ekas? Excuse me, where sale paper? See a lot of confused looks out there. Same looks I saw on so many faces growing up. So my dad, what he's saying to you is he's got you by the arm, he's going to drag you over to what he calls a sale paper. That's the rack where they got all the stuff that's on sale at Walmart that week. And he wants you, as a trusted American, to go page by page and advise him on what he should purchase for his family for the upcoming week. You know what my job is when I come to the U.S.? Fit in, okay? That's my only job. I'm trying to be like, yo, I don't want nobody touching nobody. I don't want anybody looking. I don't want to smell like anybody else. I'm trying to fit in. That's the one thing I can't. I try to tell my dad, you know what? Like, I'm learning how to read that stuff. He didn't care, right? You know, it took me a long time, guys. I gotta tell you, it took me a long time. It's probably my biggest regret from growing up. It took me a long time before I could go anywhere in this country and say, hey, you know what? That's my father Halab and my mother Tsnega. They don't look like you do. They smell like onions and garlic. You know, one of them talks really loudly, but there is nothing that anybody on the planet could ever do to make me feel the tiniest bit ashamed of who I am and where I come from. Not all that. Thank you, I appreciate that. And, you know, being black people, you know why that's so important. If you live your lives feeling like you're less than other people, feeling like you always got to prove something to somebody else, feeling like you gotta, like you carry that burden with you, and having the ability to say, you know what? Love yourself and your family at all times. No matter who your family is, no matter what your background is, whether you have a dad that you know, you don't have a dad that you know, whether you live in a nice neighborhood, not a nice neighborhood, whoever you are, wherever you come from, wherever you go, there's no reason to walk around like you don't matter. There's no reason to walk around like other people are better than you. And that can only come from one place, from you. For a long time in my life, I lived like others were better than me. And I lived like my family was less than other families. I don't want anybody in this room to ever live like that. Okay, you're not going to gain the strength and the power of what it means to be back to black, or to be able to interact with this world if you're ashamed of the most basic elements of who you are and your background. That's the first message I want to share with you. Is really having pride in who you are, having pride in your family, loving yourself, and bringing that strong to the world every day. I can tell you when I went to Harvard, you know what I did my first week at Harvard? When I got accepted, Harvard sent 3 letters to all the freshmen that got accepted. And these letters told you how you could get involved, of things you could do the week before classes started at Harvard, before orientation. They said you can show up early at Harvard, and if you want, you can spend a week going to like a nature kind of thing where you go camping with your classmates in groups of 10 or 20. That costs about $1,000. I grew up in low-income housing. My father was legally blind. Grew up a free and reduced lunch kid. I didn't have that kind of money, so there's no way my family could afford to do that. The second option was you could show up a week ahead of time. and you could go visit all the art museums and other museums in Boston. Again, that costs $1,000. Couldn't afford to do that. The third option is you could show up a week ahead of time on campus and clean all the bathrooms and dorm rooms of all your classmates that we're going to move into, and you could make like $700 or $800. That's what I did. Can I tell you something, guys? I never, ever regret that decision. One of the guys that I met doing that is a lifelong friend of mine. His name is Bo, another African-American gentleman from D.C. He has become one of my best friends. I stood up in his wedding. I was his best man. He stood up at my wedding. He now runs a company in D.C. That is worth tens of millions of dollars. He's a great friend. I met him cleaning bathrooms. Okay? Because I didn't care if people looked down on me at all. I'll show up, I'll do whatever I have to do to succeed, and nobody's going to stop me from getting that. Okay? That's the attitude. So let's do a quick experiment here real quick. Front row, I want you to do nothing, okay? You just sit right there. The rest of the group, here's what I want you to do. People in the balcony, please stay seated while you do this. I don't want you falling off, okay? You're gonna understand what I'm talking about in a second. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to in a moment, I want you to introduce yourself to someone that's in here. And here's how I want you to do it. I want you to pretend and imagine that this is the person that you've been wanting to meet your entire life. Ever since you were a little kid, you get posters to this person up around your room, okay? If I look on your phone, don't start yet, okay? Don't start. If I want to look on your phone, their picture will be right on there, okay? It's been your dream to have here. I'm going to give you just 20 seconds. I'm going to hug them. You jump up and down, kiss, whatever you do. You got 20 seconds. You got 20 front row. You can stay seated. 1, 2, 3, go. You got 20 seconds. Did you for a moment forget about the people in the front row who were not doing the activity? You kind of did, right? It's not that anybody came over here and kicked these people. It's not that anybody came over here and made fun of them. It's not that anybody came down from the balcony and did anything bad. It's just the rest of y'all right here, the rest of y'all all up there and down here, you were important. You were valued. You mattered. And guess what? You weren't a part of it. That's all it was. Right? That's all it was, guys. Now, we did this activity, guys, for 20 seconds. How many of y'all know that there's people in our community for whom this is not a 20-second activity? This is 2 years. This is 5 years. This is 10 years. They're looking out at people like y'all come to Stanford University for events like this. They're looking at the Stanford students and they're thinking, you know what? That's not all my life, right? And so a huge part of this point of going back to black, which is why a lot of the movement, the history of movements of black, is so important, is you love yourself, your family, and the invisible, right? Like we remember those brothers and sisters who don't have the opportunities we have, and we fight on their behalf. Check? Check. Check? Check. It's not just about us over here. We're going to do our thing. We're going to go to college. We're going to do all this stuff, and it's all going to work out for us. We have to have a larger vision to also see other folks in our community who don't necessarily have an invitation to that, right? What does that mean to you as you're building your own leadership, to keep that in mind? So let's talk about the second point. You know, one of the things that I hear a lot when I go visit schools I'll hear, is trying hard at school, acting white. So I hear this sometimes, okay, when I'm in school. I hear this sometimes, right? So, I hear about this a lot, and I want to talk about this for a few minutes, because if there's any element of this that exists in our community, we're going to stay stuck. We're going to stay stuck, and we're not going to grow. Okay? So I want to take a couple seconds just to talk about this. Now, I want to ask ask you, I know California has a water shortage, right, compared to other states where I'm from in Illinois, that kind of thing. But tap water, generally, you can get tap water here. If you were to go to a drinking fountain here at Stanford, you can get it for free, right? You don't have to pay money for it, right? Now, I gotta tell you, sometimes when I go visit hotels, they'll have some Fiji water in the hotel room, okay? I gotta tell you something, Fiji water is not free, okay? One time I made a mistake and I drank some Fiji water that was in the hotel room. It was like $4, okay? I got that on my bill. I was like, wow, okay? So I started asking myself, why are these people charging so much for this water? I come to find out, okay, well, here's this beautiful island Fiji. Look, it's far, far away. And look, it's all green and stuff, and look, they get the water, this water I'm holding in my hand, they get it from the special aquifer, which is an underground water source. They extract that water, they put it on huge container ships, and they bring it all the way over here to California so you can drink this. That's why they charge more for this than they do for tap water, right? This is special, right? It has some qualities that make it unique. There's not an endless supply of it. So pick the kind of life that you want to have. Okay? Do you want to have the tap water life where you're just like everybody else? Nobody's going to pay you more. Nobody's going to regard you as being special. Maybe make minimum wage. Or do you want to have the Fiji water life where people look at you and they say, hey, you're special. I'm not going to pay you $7 an hour or $17 an hour. I'm going to pay you $70 an hour or even $700 an hour. Okay? Because you've built up skills. You've built up skills that allow you to command that in the marketplace. Which life do you want? Do you want the tap water life or do you want the Fiji water life? Who said Fiji? Who said that loud like that? Who was that? Is that you? All right, pass this Fiji water back to her, okay? I didn't get into that Fiji water, okay? I'm gonna hook that up, okay? Now, so, if you go back and study Black history a little bit, which I've done, you know what's amazing about Black history, which we forget sometimes, guys, is that folks like Frederick Douglass, he was denied the opportunity to get educated. He was denied the opportunity to learn how to read. Because that's how powerful education was. And the folks who wanted to keep black people down knew that if black people got educated, that was the way black people would get liberated. So the number one strategy was, don't let them read. Don't let them know how to read or write. That was the strategy. And he's, by the way, one of my all-time heroes. I hope all of you read his books and studied him. This is my mom. When she was in Ethiopia, guys, my own mother, she couldn't read or write when she came to this country because she never had an opportunity to go to school. There were no schools around. So when she came to this country, the only jobs she had were tap water jobs. My mom always worked minimum wage jobs, a lot of times on her knees. Her knees still hurt today because she didn't get a chance to turn herself to Fiji water. Because she didn't have a chance to go to school like all of you do. So when I hear people saying it's trying hard at school, acting white, I think it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, okay? And I don't say that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And really, educating yourself gives you lifelong power and honors those who came before you. Okay, that's what education is. It gives you the power to live a Fiji water life. It gives you the power to do whatever you want. You know my mom, when I was growing up, guys, my mom and dad, they were scared to drive from a suburb that was 30 minutes away from Chicago to Chicago. They didn't have the education, they couldn't read. I've been to more than 40 states and traveled to places like Taiwan, China, all over to do things for my company. I don't have an ounce of fear in doing it. You know why? Because I have my education. So whenever anyone is trying to slow you down in your education, whenever anyone is trying to prevent you from getting educated, whenever anyone is putting poison in your mind, saying stuff like, working hard in school is acting white, reject that, pursue the Fiji water life, don't ever let that kind of thinking into your head, and you go get the opportunities that are waiting for you to go get that. So back to black, fight for your education, okay? That's how you can have that financial power you heard about earlier. We have to get our educations, we have to start businesses, we have to grow in business, we have to be aggressive about it, okay? So, first point was, love yourself, love your family, see invisible folks around you at all times. okay? Don't ever feel like you have to hide who you are. This is your country, okay? This is your world. Act like it, okay? Act like it. Act like these two gentlemen who are the president and vice president of Stanford University. They're acting like they can do whatever they want, okay? And aspire to anything, and they have, right? And having that kind of vision is what we need, right? And I want to emphasize that a little bit extra, by the way, guys. What I'm trying to emphasize for you is, there's two things going on in our country right now. There's one that's received a lot of attention, and rightfully so. And that's all the negative things that are happening in the black community. All the challenges. But we want to fight against those things, right? At the same time, we don't ever want to slow down from going out there and just crushing it. From saying, hey, each and every single one of you are going to go out there, you're going to overcome whatever racism there is out there, and you're going to accomplish, you're going to go, you're going to do things. That's what Back to Black means to me. We can't just, while we're looking at the challenges, we also have to seize the opportunities that are before us. Both have to happen. If you only go after opportunity, every time about the challenge, well, are we really doing what we're supposed to be doing in terms of caring for our community? If you look at the challenges, but you're not going out and claiming your opportunity, well, what you waiting for? Okay? What are we waiting for? So I want to share with you, this will be my third and final point. Story, I'll show you some images here. This is my brother and I playing video games, okay? And we're playing video games, and I love playing video games. A lot of people are like, oh, you play video games, and you know, I thought you were a nerd, you went to Harvard, all this stuff. I'm like, hey, I love playing video games. I also did my homework, right? It's like, just because you play video games and you have a good time doesn't mean that you aren't a successful student, right? So we're playing video games, my brother's beating me in soccer 9-0. We're playing basketball, my brother's beating me 100-10. Just dunking all over me, stealing the ball every time. We're playing football, my brother's sacking me every time. So I turn to my brother, I say, Hitsa, how come you're beating me so badly? What's going on? Why are you beating me so badly? You know what my brother did? He started laughing, he turned his joystick upside down. There was a turbo button on the other side of the joystick I didn't know about. Okay, so my brother had this extra button, he didn't hit that turbo button, so of course this guy had the extra juice dunking on me, sacking me, all this stuff. Once I started hitting my turbo button, I started doing a lot better, okay? I started doing a lot better. You know why I love this metaphor? Especially for an empowerment conference like this? I believe that just like there is a button on this joystick that you can hit, and it gives you power, I believe each and every single one of you in this room, you have a turbo button inside your hearts. You have a turbo button inside your hearts. And if you hit that life turbo button, you will zoom, you will dunk, you will go places you can't hardly imagine. And if you don't, you're going to look around and say, what happened? How come I'm losing 80-10? So what's that button look like? What does that button look like? I'll describe it for you very, very, very easily, okay? Give you a story. When I was in 8th grade, I was a CG student. I got kicked off a basketball team, and when I was taking a class, if I was doing, the class was easy for me, I would say to myself, man, this is a hookup. I cannot work hard in this class. You know, my dad's not going to get mad at me. He's not going to be on my case. My mom's not going to be on my case. I can just coast through, and I'll be fine. Right? That's not hitting my turbo button. When I got to 9th grade, I was in that same class. And I saw, okay, I'm getting 90s in this class, 95. And I went to my teacher, my counselor, and I said, hey, you know what, Miss Martin? This class is too easy for me. Like, this is too easy for me. I need some harder stuff than this. Like, give me some harder stuff. They put me in a harder class. That was a history class, actually, and that ended up being my major at Harvard University. Now, let me tell you guys something. Here's the deal. The folks who are not hitting their turbo buttons, they're waiting for their mom or dad to push them along. If you're in this room, and the reason you work hard in school is because your mom and dad are on your case, you're not hitting your turbo button. If you're in this room, and you're on sports teams, and you do the extra wind sprints when the coach is watching, as soon as the coach is gone, you stop doing them, you're not hitting your turbo button. Even if you're a good basketball player, or whatever sport you're in. If you're in this room, and you show up to school, and you say, hey, mom, dad, teachers, administrators, move out of my way. I want this a million more times than you do. I'm going to crush this much farther than you could. And nobody on the planet wants this more than I do, and you pursue that growth, you are hitting your turbo button. And you will succeed long term. If you're on that team, and you're doing the wind sprints because you want to be the best player you can be, and you're pushing yourself in that way, that is, in my opinion, the single most important moment in a young person's life, is when they wake up and they say, hey, I get it. I get it. My mom, dad, my uncle, whoever it is that supports you, my school, they can support me, but I'm going to drive this way more than anybody else, and I want this more than anybody else. It's when you get to that point that you become unstoppable. Because now you're introducing your own force, your own motivation, your own passion, and you're going to need that for the rest of your life. You're going to need that in high school, in college, in work later on. If you don't have that, you're going to look and you're going to say, okay, why am I getting schooled these ways? Why am I losing in all these different ways? And it's going to be because you didn't bring that thunder, right? So what does that look like? I'll give you a lot of examples. That's a turbo bug. When I first came to this country, my family, we couldn't afford a bike. So you know what my brother and I did? We went to the different dumpsters, we got some bikes, we put them together, we made this. Well, wasn't that nice, okay? We made this, okay? We made our bikes, right? When my brother was in high school, I told you my family was living in low-income housing. My dad was legally blind. My brother, he started a cleaning business. Here's the business card. He would go around and knock on different dentist stores or little doctor office and say, can I clean your spot? My brother started making $800 a month doing that when he was in high school. He was in his turbo bug. When I graduated from Harvard, a lot of people asked me, how did you have the motivation to start your own company when you were 22? I said, well, if my brother who was in high school could start a company, I, as a Harvard grad, could start one right away if I wanted at age 22. And now, Mawi Learning is a multi-million-dollar company that I run and I own 100%. And I built that up from nothing because I hit that turbo button, and I wanted to do that, right? The question for you is, I want you to really think about this. You don't have to talk to anybody else about this. When you look at your life, can you truly look at yourself and say, hey, I'm hitting my turbo button? Can you look at yourself and say, yeah, I'm hitting that turbo button? If the answer is no, the good news is it's right there. Just like when I discovered that button was there and I started hitting it, I started doing better, you can start hitting your turbo button today. If you're already hitting it, I encourage you, keep hitting it all throughout. Keep hitting it all throughout. Does it always mean that everything's going to work out for you? No. I was even talking to these Stanford students. They were telling me about challenges they had in their journey. Real challenges, right? Significant challenges. Real hardships. Even here at Stanford, they keep hitting that turbo button. They keep doing it, and they progress. So that's your turbo button. I gotta tell you, for me, my biggest challenge, when I was a sophomore in high school, any sophomores in here right now? When I was in my sophomore year at high school, I experienced the biggest challenge I ever faced. That's my brother I shared with you earlier. And I often don't tell this story, because it's a very sad story for me to tell. And it's painful for me every time I retell the story. But I'm sharing it with you because I want you to know what I went through so you can understand that it's not easy for folks even when they succeed. So that when you're going through your challenges, you can have that reference point. So for me, my biggest challenge was, this is my best friend I ever had in the world. When he was a senior in high school, I was a sophomore, my brother 12 took a drive up to visit a friend of his. Drunk driver came on the road, slammed into my brother's car, and killed my brother instantly. I never saw my brother again after that time. And can I tell you guys something? That was the absolute most crushing, having survived a refugee camp, all the disease and other stuff we went through over there, coming over here, figuring everything out, then to pass away from something like that was devastating. But you know what helped me the most? I looked at my brother's example of him consistently hitting his turbo button and what he did to start his business. And I knew the thing that would make my brother the saddest ever would be to see me give up and not continue to hit my turbo button. And I went forward after that, worked even harder, and eventually got that scholarship to Harvard University. Right? Thank you, I appreciate that. And I'm sharing that because I know life is not easy. I know if each of you got a chance to come up here and share the problems and challenges you faced, you would really be amazed what people have gone through in this room. I'd be amazed to hear what you went through, what you're going through right now. And yet at the same time, I hope hearing stories like this inspires you to continue and to keep hitting that turbo button, right? So that's my mom and I at the graduation, of course, I love showing. So back to black, hit your turbo button, okay? I want all y'all to be hitting those turbo buttons all throughout, right? And if I run into you, if I run into you, and here's the big lie, by the way. Black people can't make it in America, okay? That's a lie. You can make it, okay? Racism exists, but you can't overcome it, and you are meant to crush it, okay? That's got to be your attitude, okay? I've gotten pulled over lots of times. I've had a lot of crazy stuff happen to me. You know what my attitude is? I'm going to crush this stuff. It's not going to stop me from having the life that I want to have. And I hope that's your attitude too. We acknowledge racism, but each and every single one of us in this room, we commit ourselves to overcome it and pursue the lives we want to have and fight for it. Check? Check. That's the proper attitude, in my opinion. Here's the truth. Nothing can prevent you from being successful. That's how I view it. When I see each of you in this room, I don't for a second doubt that any of you in this room can be successful. I hope you do not doubt that either. That's the attitude you bring. Regardless of what you may see on the TV screens, regardless of what challenges out there, you don't ever let that question your ability to have a good life in this country and to succeed. As soon as that happens, bad guys have won, guys. As soon as people can get you to question your ability to be successful, your ability to have a pot, they've already won the mental war, and they already got you on the map. Proper attitude is, I'm gonna succeed, and I'm gonna make it no matter what. That's how we think. Here's the other thing that really inspires me. You come from a long line of folks who've crushed impossible odds. Do you understand that? You come from you have blood flowing through your veins of people who for centuries, millennia, have been crushing odds and overcoming. And I think about what my mom went through. I would think about what people like Frederick Douglass went through. That's what back to black means to me, is harnessing that power, harnessing that motivation, going forward and bringing that with you each and every single day, right? So, don't forget, if I see you at the airport, I want to be able to get you that sandwich, okay? I want to be able to get you that Chinese food, whatever you want, right? So when I see you, I hope you're able to say, hey, Maui, hey, Mr. Maui, here's something I did as a result of your presentation. Here's how I hit my turbo button. Here's how I have more love for my family. Here's how I overcame that racist incident that occurred, right? Here's how I went and I challenged myself to do something I hadn't done before. Here's how I saw somebody who was invisible. If you can tell me one thing you did today in the conference, I will get you that sandwich, right? The final thing I will do, by the way, this is what I do. My company creates leadership classes, online leadership classes that are accessible around the country. So if you like what you've heard today, you want more motivation, inspiration, you can just visit my website, mawilearning.com. That's my Facebook and Twitter as well. My purpose in life is to inspire students like you. That's what I do all the time, right? The final thing I'll do with you is, and this is our final wrap-up, when I went back to Ethiopia to visit my grandma, she did something very special. She had me stand up, and she would say, she put her hands on my shoulders, and she'd say things like this to me. She'd say, Deki, Dekiha, Yadiha, which in my language means, may you live to see your children's children. Or she'd say things like this, Ken Shikun, which in my language means, may you have the power and brilliance of 1,000 people. I thought to myself, you know what? To hear my grandma say that and how empowering that is, and to feel her love coming alive was so meaningful to me. I thought we could all wrap up by doing my favorite blessing my grandma did. Does that sound good? Yeah. All right, why don't you all stand up, okay? There's going to be a touchy-feely moment, plugging the camera, and things like that. That's cool. Put your arm on each other's shoulders, okay? Go ahead. There you go. All right. All right. Now, I want you to repeat after me. Repeat after me in my native language, and then I'm going to translate for you, and then we'll be done. And remember what we talked about. Back to black. It means accessing that power, that strength to love yourself and your family, hit your turbo button to overcome racism, and get that education, right? That's what it means to me. I hope that inspires each and every single one of you. Now repeat after me, okay? Repeat after me. Sai! Sai! Ke! Ke! Wakaka! Wakaka! Isho! Isho! Ke! Ke! Wakaka! Wakaka! Ka! Ka! Lani! Lani! Da! Da! Dati! Dati! Amna! Amna! Yahanuka! Yahanuka! What you just said. Don't worry. A lot of you wonder, right? Don't worry, there's Ethiopians and Arabians in the audience, so I can't make stuff up here. What you just said about grandma's favorite blessing, I hope you carry it with you in your heart throughout the day. It's that the sun may not scorch you, nor the thorn pierce you from the heavens to the earth. May the Lord protect you. Y'all been a wonderful audience. I hope we get